Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Krishna Chaitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jaya Pataka Swami Maharaj on December 3rd, 2021 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Pangon langhayate girim Sri Gurum Dhinatharinam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, today we will continue with the compilation of Sri Krishna Chaitanya book. Today's chapter is entitled Uttama, Madhyama and Kanishtha, according to one's faith, love and attachment for Krishna, part 1, under the section The Process of Devotional Service. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.62.
শ্রদ্ধার সংজ্ঞা শ্রদ্ধা শব্দে বিশ্বাস কহে সুদৃঢ় নিশ্চয় কৃষ্ণে ভক্তি কইলে সর্বকর্মকৃত হয়
Shraddha is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Firm faith and confident are called Shraddha. When one engages in the Lord's devotional service, he is to be understood to have performed all his responsibilities in the material world. He has satisfied his forefathers, ordinary living entities, and demigods, and is free from all responsibility. Such a person does not need to meet his responsibilities separately. It is automatically done. Fruitive activity karma is meant to satisfy the senses of the conditioned soul. However, when one awakens to Krishna consciousness, he does not have to work separately for pious activity. The best achievement of all fruitive activity is detachment from material life, and this detachment is spontaneously enjoyed by the devotee firmly engaged in the Lord's service.
So, Shraddha is hereby defined.
So Shraddha is hereby defined.
Firm faith.
Firm faith.
And since everyone is indebted ultimately to Lord Krishna,
Since everyone is indebted ultimately to Lord Krishna,
therefore by serving Krishna, all one's other debts are fulfilled.
therefore by serving Krishna, one's other debts are fulfilled. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.63.
কৃষ্ণ পূজনেই সকল পূজা শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবতের চতুর্থ স্কন্ধের 31 নম্বর অধ্যায়ের 14 নম্বর শ্লোক
Yatataror mula nisheshanena trityanti skandha bhujopashakaha pranopaharaccha yatendriyanam tathaiva sarvarnam achyutejya. By pouring water on the root of a tree, one automatically satisfies the trunk, branches and twigs. Similarly, by supplying food to the stomach, where it nourishes the life hair, one satisfies all the senses. In the same way, by worshipping Krishna and rendering him service, one automatically satisfies all the demigods. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. This quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.31.14.
So, by worshiping Krishna, all other duties to devatas and to other
So by worshipping Krishna, all other duties to the devatas and others
are fulfilled.
are fulfilled. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.64.
ভক্তির অধিকারী নির্ণয় ও ভেদ ত্রিবিধ ভক্ত অধিকার। শ্রদ্ধাবান জন হয় ভক্তি অধিকারী, উত্তম মধ্যম কনিষ্ঠ শ্রদ্ধা অনুসারী।
A faithful devotee is truly eligible candidate for the loving service of the Lord. According to one's faith, one is classified as a topmost devotee, an intermediate devotee, or an inferior devotee. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The word Shraddhavan, faithful, means understanding Krishna to be the summum bonum, the eternal truth and absolute transcendence. If one has full faith in Krishna and confidence in him, one becomes eligible to discharge devotional service confidentially. According to one's faith, one is topmost, intermediate, or inferior devotee.
So to that extent, one has faith.
To different extents, one has faith
Krishna is the absolute truth,
that Krishna is the absolute truth,
the cause of all causes,
the cause of all causes,
and therefore they are appropriately considered.
and therefore they are appropriately considered. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.65.
উত্তম অধিকারীর সংজ্ঞা। শাস্ত্র যুক্তে সুনিপুণ ধীর শ্রদ্ধা যার, উত্তম অধিকারী সেই তারয়ে সংসার।
One who is expert in logic, argument, and revealed scriptures, and who has firm faith in Krishna is classified as a topmost devotee. He can deliver the whole world.
So the Uttamadhikari can explain Krishna to anyone,
So the Uttam Adhikari can explain Krishna to anyone,
since he has very firm faith,
since he has very firm faith,
since he's expert in logic, argument,
since he is
and
expert,
Shastra.
since he is expert in logic, argument, and Shastra. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.66. Shastre yuktau cha nipunaha sarvatha drida nischayah praudha shraddho adhikariha sabhaktau uttamo mataha. One who is expert in logic and in understanding the revealed scriptures, and who always has firm conviction and deep faith that is not blind, is to be considered a topmost devotee in devotional service. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, this verse appears in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.17 by Srila Rupa Goswami.
So this gives the definition of Uttam Adhikari.
So this gives a definition of Uttam Adhikari. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.67.
মধ্যম অধিকারীর সংজ্ঞা। শাস্ত্র যুক্তি নাহি জানে, ধীর শ্রদ্ধাবান, মধ্যম অধিকারী সেই মহাভাগ্যবান।
One who is not very expert in argument and logic based on revealed scripture, but who has firm faith, is considered a second-class devotee. He also must be considered most fortunate.
Madhyam Adhikari, he may not be able to convince non-believers,
So Madhyam Adhikari, he may not be able to convince non-believers,
but his faith is fixed.
but his faith is fixed. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.68. Yash Shastradishva Nipunaha Shraddhavan Satu Madhyamaha. He who does not know scriptural argument very well, but who has firm faith, is called an intermediate or second-class devotee. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. This verse appears in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.18.
I saw a Madhyam Adhikari. He may not know the Shastric evidence
So the
very well,
Madhyam Adhikari, he may not know the Shastric evidence very well,
but he has firm faith.
but he has firm faith.
So that's his qualification.
So that is his qualification.
Even if he can't respond, he doesn't lose his faith.
So even he doesn't respond, he doesn't lose his faith. Even he can't respond, he doesn't lose his faith. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.69.
কনিষ্ঠ অধিকারীর সংজ্ঞা যাহার কোমল শ্রদ্ধা সে কনিষ্ঠজন ক্রমে ক্রমে তেহ ভক্ত হইবে উত্তম.
One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte, but by gradually following the process he will rise to the platform of a first-class devotee.
And so here the Kanishta Adhikari, he may get bewildered
So here the Kanishta Adhikari, he may get bewildered
by some argument
and
lose his faith.
But
He may doubt the argument and thus still follow the process. And gradually he can rise up.
Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.70. Yo bhavet komala shraddhaha sa kanishto nigadyate. One whose faith is not very strong but who's just beginning should be considered a neophyte devotee. This verse also appears in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.19. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.71.
ভক্তির তারতম্য কথন রতি প্রেম তারতম্যে ভক্তি তরতম একাদশ স্কন্ধে তার করিয়াছে লক্ষণ.
A devotee is considered superlative or superior according to his attachment and love. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the following symptoms have been given. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has stated that if one has developed faith in Krishna consciousness, he is to be considered an eligible candidate for further advancement in Krishna consciousness. Those who have faith are divided into three categories: Uddam, Madhyam and Kanishta, first class, second class and neophyte. A first class devotee has firm conviction in the revealed scripture and is expert in arguing according to the Shastras. He is firmly convinced of the science of Krishna consciousness. The Madhyam Adhikari or second class devotee has firm conviction in Krishna consciousness, but he cannot support his conviction by citing Shastric references. The neophyte devotee does not yet have firm faith. In this way, the devotees are typed. The standard of devotion is also categorized in the same way. A neophyte believes that only love for Krishna or Krishna consciousness is very good, but he may not know the basis of a pure Krishna consciousness or how one can become a perfect devotee. Sometimes in the heart of a neophyte there is attraction for karma, jnana and yoga. And when he is free and transcendental to mixed devotional activity, he becomes a second-class devotee. When he becomes expert in logical and can refer to the Shastra, he becomes a first-class devotee. The devotees are also described as positive, comparative and superlative in terms of their love and attachment for Krishna. It should be understood that a Madhyam Adhikari, a second-class devotee, is fully convinced of Krishna consciousness but cannot support his conviction with Shastric reference. A neophyte may fall down by associating with non-devotees because he is not firmly convinced and strongly situated. The second class devotee, even though he cannot support his position with Shastric reference, can gradually become a first class devotee by studying the Shastras and associating with a first class devotee. However, if the second class devotee does not advance himself by associating with a first class devotee, he makes no progress. There is no possibility that a first class devotee will fall down, even though he may mix with non-devotees to preach. Conviction and faith gradually increase to make one an Uttam Adhikari, a first class devotee.
So it's important that devotees should read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrita.
So it's important that the devotees read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Become very expert in presenting these Shastric evidence.
Becomes expert in presenting the Shastric evidence.
And they can become first-class devotees.
So they can become first class devotees. Chaitanya Charitamrita 22.72
উত্তম অধিকারী বা মহাভাগবতের লক্ষণ।
सर्वभूतेषु यः पश्चेत् भगवद्भावमात्मनः भूतानि भगवत्यात्मानि एष भागवतोत्तमः. A person advanced in devotional service sees within everything the soul of souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. Consequently, he always sees the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes and understands that all things are situated in him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.45.
The Uttamadhikari sees Krishna present as Super Soul and all of the entities.
The Uttam Adhikari devotee sees Krishna present as a super soul in all living entities.
Thus, he's always in contact with Krishna.
Thus, he is always in contact with Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.73
মধ্যম অধিকারীর লক্ষণ।
ईश्वरे तद आदिनेषु बलिशेषु द्विषट्सु च प्रेम मैत्री कृपोपेक्षा यः करोति स मध्यमः. An intermediate second class devotee shows love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is friendly to all devotees, and is very merciful to neophytes and ignorant people. The intermediate devotee neglects those who are envious of devotional service. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is also a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.46. This statement was made by the great sage Narada while speaking to Vasudeva about devotional service. This subject was originally discussed between Nimi, the king of Videha, and the 9 Navayogendras.
So, this describes the symptoms of a Madhyam Adhikari,
So this describes the symptoms of a Madhyam Adhikari,
intermediate devotee.
intermediate devotee.
Since he doesn't have very strong arguments
Since
based on Shastra,
he doesn't have very strong arguments based on Shastras,
he avoids the people who are against devotional service.
he avoids the people who are against devotional service. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.74
কনিষ্ঠ অধিকারীর লক্ষণ।
Archayam eva hareye pujam ya shraddhaye hate na tad bhakteshu chanyeshu sa bhakta prakrita smritaha. A prakrita bhakta or a materialistic devotee does not purposefully study the Shastra and try to understand the actual standard of pure devotional service. Consequently, he does not show proper respect to advanced devotees. He may, however, follow the regulative principles learned from his spiritual master and from his family who worship the deity. He is to be considered on the material platform, although he is trying to advance in devotional service. Such a person is Bhakta Praya, neophyte devotee, or Bhakta Bhasa, for he is a little enlightened by Vaishnava philosophy. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. This is also from Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.47. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that one who has full love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who maintains a good friendship with the Lord's devotee is always callous to those who envy Krishna and Krishna's devotee. Such a person is to be considered an intermediate devotee. He becomes first-class devotee when, in the course of advancing in devotional service, he feels intimate relationship with all living entities, seeing them as a part and parcel of the Supreme Person.
A Kanishta Adhikari,
The Kanishta Adhikari,
or neophyte devotee,
or the neophyte devotee,
respects the deity in the temple or the church or mosque,
respect the deity in the temple or church or mosque,
but doesn't understand the position of an advanced devotee.
but doesn't understand the position of an advanced devotee.
Nor does he fully understand the position of the Supreme Person of Godhead.
Nor does he fully understand the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
He is doing some devotional service, but
He is doing some devotional service, but
he has much to learn.
he has much to learn.
So for all these, studying the sacred books,
So all this studying the sacred book,
very focused
very focused,
and very concentratedly,
very concentratedly,
is recommended.
is recommended. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.75.
শুদ্ধ ভক্ত কৃষ্ণের সর্বগুণেই বিভূষিত। সর্বমহাগুণগণ বৈষ্ণব শরীরে, কৃষ্ণ ভক্তে কৃষ্ণের গুণ সকলই সঞ্চারে।
A Vaishnava is one who has developed all good transcendental qualities. All the good qualities of Krishna gradually develop in Krishna's devotee.
By doing devotional service,
By doing devotional service,
a devotee gradually develops all the good qualities.
a devotee gradually develops all the good qualities. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.76. In one who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna, all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods are consistently manifest. However, he who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualifications because he is engaged by mental concoction in material existence, which is the external feature of the Lord. Purport: this was spoken by Prahlad Maharaj and his followers who were offering prayers to Lord Nrsimhadeva. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.12. Yes.
So even though materialists may show some nice qualities,
So even though the materialist may show some nice qualities,
he can change at any time
he can
since his basis is illusory.
change at any time since his basis is illusory.
Kamsa was driving the chariot graciously for his sister who was newly married to Vasudeva.
So Kamsa was driving the chariot graciously for his sister who was newly married to Vasudeva.
Then a voice from the sky said, "The eighth child of Devaki will kill you."
And a voice from the sky said, "The eighth child of Devaki would kill you."
Immediately he dropped his favorable attitude and grabbed his sister Devaki and was ready to kill her.
Immediately he developed an unfavorable attitude towards his sister Devaki and wanted to kill her.
So you cannot rely on the good qualities of a materialist
So we cannot realize on the good qualities of a materialist
because he identifies himself as his body.
because he identifies himself as his body. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.77.
বৈষ্ণবের 26টি গুণ বা লক্ষণ বর্ণন। সেই সব গুণ হয় বৈষ্ণব লক্ষণ, সব কহা না যায় করি দিগ দর্শন।
All these transcendental qualities are the characteristics of pure Vaishnavas, and they cannot be fully explained, but I shall try to point out some of the important qualities.
26 important qualities are naturally acquired by the devotees.
So there are 26 qualities are naturally important qualities that are naturally acquired by the devotees. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.78 to 80.
তন্মধ্যে কৃষ্ণৈক শরণত্বই স্বরূপ, অবশিষ্ট সবই তটস্থ লক্ষণ। কৃপালু অকৃতদ্রোহ সত্যসার সম, নির্দোষ অবদান্য মৃদু সূচি অকিঞ্চন, সর্বোপকারক শান্ত কৃষ্ণৈক শরণ, অকাম নিরীহ স্থির বিজিত সরগুণ, মিতভোগ অপ্রমত্ত মানদমানি, গম্ভীর করুণ মৈত্র কবি দক্ষ মৌনী।
Devotees are always merciful, humble, truthful, equal to all, faultless, magnanimous, mild and clean. They are without material possessions and they perform welfare work for everyone. They are peaceful, surrendered to Krishna and desireless. They are indifferent to material acquisitions and are fixed in devotional service. They completely control the 6 bad qualities, lust, anger, greed and so forth. They eat only as much as required and they are not inebriated. They are respectful, grave, compassionate and without false prestige. They are friendly, poetic, expert and silent.
These are the 26 qualities
So these are the 26 qualities
that Vaishnava acquires.
that a Vaishnava acquires. Hari Bol.
Naturally by his performing devotional service.
Naturally by his performing devotional service. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.81.
প্রমাণ রয়েছে শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবতের 3য় স্কন্ধের 25 অধ্যায়ের 21 নম্বর শ্লোকে।
Devotees are always tolerant, forbearing, and very merciful. They are the well-wishers of every living entity. They follow the scriptural injunctions, and because they have no enemies, they are very peaceful. These are the decorations of devotees. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.21. When the sages headed by Shaunaka inquired about Kapil Dev, the incarnation of Godhead, Suta Goswami, who was the topmost devotee of the Lord, quoted the talks about self-realization between Vidura and Maitreya, friend of Vyasadevas. During these talks, the topic of Lord Kapila had come up, and at that time Maitreya had repeated Kapil Dev's discussions with his mother, wherein the Lord states that the attachment to material things is the cause of conditioned life. When a person becomes attached to transcendental things, he is on the path of liberation.
And this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam gives some of the qualities of the pure devotee.
So this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam gives some of the qualities of the pure devotees. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.82.
মহৎ বা বৈষ্ণবের সেবাতেই মায়ামোচন, স্ত্রীসঙ্গী সেবায় সংসার বন্ধন বা নরক লাভ।
It is the verdict of all Shastras and great personalities that service to a pure devotee is the path of liberation. By contrast, association with materialistic people, people who are attached to material enjoyment and women, is the path of darkness. Those who are actually devotees are broad-minded, equal to everyone, and very peaceful. They never become angry and they are friendly to all living entities. Purport. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2.
If you associate with devotees,
If you associate with devotees,
then naturally you advance in their Krishna consciousness.
And naturally you will advance in your Krishna consciousness.
If you associate with drunkards,
If you associate with drunkards,
you'll take out drinking.
then you'll take up drinking.
If you associate with thieves, you may take up stealing.
So if you associate with thieves, you may take up stealing.
So, association with materialists
If you associate with materialists,
is the pathway to repeated birth and death.
you are in the pathway to repeated birth and death. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is a quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.83.
সাধু সঙ্গের মাহাত্ম্য বর্ণন। সাধু সঙ্গ ফলেই কৃষ্ণ সেবা লাভ। কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি জন্মমূল হয় সাধু সঙ্গ। কৃষ্ণ প্রেম জন্মে তেহ পুন মুখ্য অঙ্গ।
The root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with advanced devotee. Even when one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, association with devotees is still most essential.
Narottam Das Thakur explained
Narottam Das Thakur explains
that without the association of Vaishnavas,
that without the association of the Vaishnava,
who has ever been delivered?
who has ever been delivered. Thus ends the chapter entitled Uddam, Madhyam and Kanishta according to one's faith, love, attachment for Krishna under the section The Process of Devotional Service.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.